tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, welcome back to another after show for Mindy Project Season 3, Episode 17. Danny Castellano is my nutritionist. Thank you so much for coming back again this week. Be sure to tweet us during this episode, hashtag ABTV Mindy Project, and check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, all at AfterBuzz TV. We love hearing from you guys. So without further ado, I'm Sterling Cates, and you can find me on Twitter at Sterling Cates. Got that all out for you. And joining me this week,
I'm Eman Redwan. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Imani Fresh.
What's going on, guys? I'm Nicholas Grava. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Nicholas Grava.
there we go. All right.
That was a lot
Yeah,
to
with
get
all
out.
that
For you.
That was quick, though. It was like the quickest
Yeah.
intro.
You know, I like getting it in.
Get to the point.
I got like one line and I messed it up. It's been a long day.
I couldn't think of the social media, so that's all right. It's okay. So this week, what did you guys think? We had another guest appearance from Vanessa Williams, who I love. I think she's really great.
I love her.
But what did you guys think overall?
Overall, it was a snooze fest. No offense.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mindy, but I don't know. I was very underwhelmed. I mean, she had a couple really funny punchlines towards the end, but the first half, I was like, what is this episode about? You know?
Yeah, we were like 8 minutes in, and I was kind of also questioning, like, where is this going? What's it about? It's kind of over the throw-up thing. I think it worked for a little while, and then I was like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
You get sick. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the episode, you know, to an extent. There definitely have been funnier ones. But she did, like you said, had her one-liners that she always has.
Yeah.
I mean, because she's Mindy. She's hilarious. But, you know, overall, I think it was really going into a lot of detail about her pregnancy, which, Eman, I feel like you're skeptical about a little bit.
A lot of it.
A lot of it.
Yeah, I know. I don't see her, like, we talked about this last week. I don't see her having a baby on the show. Not period. But
and Sam and I talked about this the week before about when we don't really think that goes along with the show, what it's about. But I mean, maybe that's how they're going to keep it going, though, season after season.
I think that's what it is. I think also, like, why, like, an episode like this, I wasn't as much, I guess, enjoyable for me, but I think it's because we're starting to get like softer moments with like her and Danny, which is nice to see. Like, even she was like tearing up in one of the scenes, and that's like different and nice and emotional, but I don't think that's what I think of the show when you know what I mean? So I think it's taking a new direction. Do I like it? I'm not sure yet.
I think like the show targets the millennials, the 18 to 34s, and that's us, and we were in tune with the show. Now they're like dealing with real issues that we have nothing to relate to. We're like having babies and all that.
That's true. But I do like it, though, that, like you said, Nick, that they're doing the more emotional scenes, because they even do throw in her little one-liners. Like at the end, we see Danny and her talking about it, and she's just saying, you know, about the cross and the whole thing. Like, there's those little moments. Still make it funny and lighten it up a little bit, but it's a very serious topic. So
this episode felt like it was like a filler episode. Like, they're just, you know, trying to do something because nothing really happened. And the last few episodes, every episode there was something big that was being discussed. So we were waiting for it this week, and I think that's where my disappointment came in from.
Well, so let's talk about the episode then. So we're in New York because she decides to rent the space from her ex, and so they're not in San Francisco. She's in New York, but we're documenting pretty much her morning sickness that she's getting, which, you know, isn't, you know, the best thing to watch her barfing the whole episode. But it's something that's very real, and it's something that happened.
Does it really have? So I'm not familiar with the morning sickness things, and like, I thought that was like a little bit like drama. Like, I didn't know it was that serious of a thing that.
I mean, I'm no expert by any means, but definitely it's a thing. And I think that, like, they touched on a little bit that it can be triggered, like heavier cases of it, I guess, by different things, whether it's your diet or whether it's stress or whatever.
By being forced to eat white steak, as
white
would call
steak,
it.
seriously. But yeah, so she's barfing all the time. They make her this barf bucket, so it's not glamorous. Like she says, I'm usually so elegant. I was like, I'm sure you are. But of course, Danny's obsessed with, her eating right and having a fit pregnancy. And so he's buying all the baby books and cooking her all of her meals, and she just wants to eat like a normal person. I feel like I would have a really hard time with that as well. Like, try to deprive me of my bacon, that will not happen. That will definitely not happen.
I eat whatever I want right now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
when I'm pregnant, it's going to be times 10. Like, I'm going to eat everything in sight.
Yeah. I love that she said, I've been eating for 2 my whole life. I'm like, I'm feeling it.
It's not going to change.
I agree with her.
Yeah.
Completely. Because, especially with me, like, once I have a baby, I feel like there's no coming back. Like, I'm gonna be fat, and that is life.
Well, I feel like for like a lot of time, like it's like the moment in time in life when like you can eat whatever you want, you have no regrets because you have a great excuse to be doing it. So it's like, why not?
But like
partake?
the problem with me is I don't work out, and like
so that might happen.
No, like I've accepted the idea that I'm gonna be fat after I have a baby, and there's no coming back from that, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then and you see in Hollywood, and we were watching the Oscars just the other night. You see people like Zoe Saldana who had a baby like 2 weeks ago, and she's in that like little pink dress. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah, only
her body bounced back.
But I like this new body better because like she's a more like curvier, fuller Zoe Saldana, which I like on her. You know.
I think like the whole thing of like Hollywood always shows like the bouncing back body or whatever it is. It's like and like everyone knows like has seen someone that's pregnant or not pregnant. It's like that's just puts such a strong standard on like what you have to be or like what you have to be doing. I think it's crazy.
You know what I loved was when Kate Middleton left the hospital, and I think that was the first time that I saw some type of celebrity or somebody like that on her stature to have a belly and just be like open with it.
I didn't see that, but that's
Yeah, but like usually when a celebrity has a baby, the next day they have like a flat stomach, and that's not real life. You still have that pouch for a really long time, So I really appreciate that.
And it's respect. It's just a lot of respect for her to make women feel like they can.
Yeah, because she could have wore something to cover it up, but she was just fully embracing it, and to me, that's what a woman should do.
I think it shows kind of that she's proud that she just had a kid. We're like way off topic now, but the last thing I'll say about it is because Kim Kardashian went into hiding basically after she had Northwest, and then now they're trying to get pregnant again, and she did all that work to get in shape, and now she's just going to do it again. I feel like I might just maybe stay in hiding, have the second kid, and then do it.
Why even go on the roller coaster?
Or just be okay with being fat.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm cool. Like that's it
I'm
for
gonna put on some daddy weight too right there now. I'm gonna eat anything. Hell.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a little sidetrack, but that's okay. I think it's relevant to Mindy because it's all about being fit.
You know what? With this episode, I wanted them to kind of address the whole Stanford situation. It was kind of like, she's not doing that anymore. Like, really? She's really not going to finish school?
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah. And they made such a big deal of her going and her wanting to finish.
Yeah.
I really want to see her to see that through. I mean, maybe there's a chance of her going back and doing it, or she can finish online.
Okay, I've done the online route, maybe she's going to take that online.
Is it Stanford, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, there's no Stanford.com, EDU. Come on.
/EDU.
Yeah, there is, but I need to hop on that bandwagon. But so like I said, we had the guest star, Vanessa Williams, this episode. The character of Dr. Suzanne Phillips. I really like that they're bringing in more guest stars.
Yeah.
And I think they have a few more lined up. Laverne Cox is coming in. I think she's going to play Tamara's cousin or something.
Oh, that will be fun.
And then Kris Jenner is coming on playing herself. Speaking of the Kardashians.
Yeah.
I don't know how she's going to play herself in this.
I mean, I can just see Mindy being like super obsessed with her because Mindy's always obsessed with like pop culture and every like pop culture, and so I can picture that. But
we'll see. And then I think the other one I read about was Stephen Colbert is coming on to play like a priest or something.
Oh,
so that'll
priest.
Be,
that means they may be getting married.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we can talk about that in predictions. So, anyways, going back to it, so she runs into Vanessa, but Dr. Phillips on the street. She's trying to put donuts on each finger.
Sir, I'm just trying to put one on each finger. I'm like, yeah, a little bit.
Well, the thing is, to me, Mindy, as Mindy Kaling and also Dr. Lahiri, she's not obese to me by any means. She's normal size. You know, I relate to her. I feel like, I don't know. I also have the same eating habits, so.
Me too, girl. Me too.
But so she runs into Dr. Phillips on the street, and she was her med school professor, and she hasn't seen her since graduation. But apparently, she had a huge girl crush on her and sent her.
I would too.
She's like, I got all your letters.
She's like, I got all your letters.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, your acne cleared up. And then she's like, no, it just made my butt. So there we go.
Yeah, Mindy, how you clear that up, Mindy? Let me know.
Yeah, you let us know because we're having problems this week.
Oh, that's so funny. But so meanwhile, at the practice, they're looking for a new doctor since Mindy is opening up her own fraternity clinic. So Mindy thinks that Dr. Phillips would be perfect for the position. So
I was excited. I was wondering for a second. I was like, wait, is this going to be a new series regular? And then I'm like, no, I don't think she would. I didn't think that it was going to be happening. But I was like, oh, who are they going to bring in for this role? Who's it going to be? So
it's got to be someone good, you know.
Yeah.
If it's gonna be a regular, well, we find out that it's someone who might not be.
But it was a
interesting.
trial period. I'm hoping that.
Hoping he gets fired.
Yeah.
Hoping that doesn't work out. So.
Yeah, but I kind of got a weird vibe from Dr. Phillips. I thought that she wasn't very trustworthy. Because she seemed really offstandish. And that she wasn't trying to work at all. Right,
yeah.
exactly.
She was like, I'm retired, my husband's rich, why do I have to work?
Yeah, and she just said she was bored, but she can find a hobby. You know, she doesn't need to be delivering babies, probably. So they're at the office. There's a bunch of doctors there, and they're all just very plain. I loved how he said they looked like the people who can't sleep in a cough drop commercial. I thought that was so funny because he really did. He was wearing the exact same outfit.
Yeah.
So there's an office of them, and Mindy sent them all home because she thought Dr. Phillips would get it. But, as we find out, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And we see him later. We'll get to that in a second. But they Skype with Peter. So we are seeing him.
I was so excited to see that because I didn't know what that was going to be. I read a few things online that said he would still come on and do guest appearances and stuff. So I'm really happy that they're still kind of incorporating him into the show.
Exactly. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago when Sam was here about how, because it was another video chat with him. So they'll probably do a lot of those little video chats so he can do it from wherever, basically.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like...
You over him?
I
got the vibe. I
was just
here.
Okay, it's not that I'm over him. I like him, but I want him in or out.
Right.
Yeah, that's
this
fair.
feels like a tease to me. It's like, okay, we're Skyping with him again, but he's never coming to visit. He's never coming to visit.
That's fair. And honestly, I don't like his storyline where he is. He's like, oh, I went out to lunch. It's like, bro, are you stalking the girl? Or are you dating the girl? Move on or don't. And I feel like Mindy's the girl that would say that to him, but she hasn't, and I don't know why.
And I don't, it's like, if he's not coming back, why don't you have him living happily ever after? Or why is he stalking her?
Yeah. I completely agree. We love Peter so much. We don't want to see him so desperately just following her around.
Right.
And
What's that about?
It's just, and we don't like Lauren, so it's like we don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree though. He's either in or out. I'd rather have him in, but in his real life, that's not a opportunity. So, but he is her doctor, Mindy's doctor, so he's got to be in it throughout the pregnancy.
Okay. Realistically speaking, though,
he can't do it from Texas.
Exactly.
Right? That wouldn't happen.
I would never be pregnant Skyping my doctor hey, so.
Yeah, putting a life in your hands and over Skype, so this feels good.
Yeah, the first thing I would do is get a local doctor.
Yeah, that's true.
But then it's Mindy in the Mindy Project.
Well, she trusts Peter, but whatever. But there's really no development with him in his Texas life. It's just, still stalking her. Okay, let's talk about your pregnancy. And so he tells her that he has.
I have a question.
What's that?
Go ahead. Has she seen a real doctor, in person, since she's been pregnant?
She did.
She saw.
What did she have, the physical last? What episode was she, having the physical or, a checkup with, all the doctors at the same time? But I don't know if she was pregnant at that point.
Yeah, that was when Peter was still there, though.
Yeah, but, after he left.
And that's when, I don't know.
I don't think, not to mention.
I don't know. I still don't believe this pregnancy thing.
Okay,
continue.
All right.
I mean, if Danny is trying to feed her the chicken and steal oats, you'd think he'd be like, oh, and by the way, we got an appointment, or something. He's worried about everything else, but not the realistic thing that they could do.
That's very interesting. But anyway, Peter says that she has geriatric obese pregnancy. And that he puts Danny in charge of her diet officially because she wasn't really listening to him. She has to throw away all of her candy bars. Thought it was pretty clever with the banana and the candy bar. I'm going to have to try that.
Very clever. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to try
I've done that before.
Yeah. And, of course, she's getting a lot of temptation from Tamer's cake and the whole thing. But meanwhile, Danny is still smoking and chain smoking. Yeah. And he finds her eating the cake and says, "You have no willpower." And then she finds him smoking. Just so, I mean, he's being a hypocrite or a hypocrite.
Yeah, because she's never seen it written out.
I did like that line. She's like, "You are a hypocrite." Or, I don't know. I've never read that one. I've only read it. Yeah.
I've never heard it. I've already seen it written.
Yeah.
So
she gets upset. The whole office gets upset that he's still smoking. And she says she'll quit, well, not quit eating, but quit eating unhealthily if he quits smoking. So he goes 2 weeks. She gets
with a weird montage of like Britney Spears music.
I
was like, but it worked.
I'm like, Mindy, like, I don't know. What's this?
That was interesting. Yeah. Anyways, we're running out of time here, so we got to do this a little fast. But she ends up throwing up on Dr. Bergdahl, who was the guy from the cough drop commercial that looks like he hasn't slept. And he ends up saying that the morning sickness is stress-induced and not diet triggered. So that means that, all this stress from Danny and whatever is really triggering this. So he brings that point about to Danny and that he needs to cut her some slack, which is true. I mean, you can't just force it on someone, and it takes time.
Right.
As he should know with the smoking addiction, he should know that it takes some time to adjust.
Especially when her eating habit all her life has been this way. You can't just, wake up the next day and be like, "Oh, I'm pregnant, I'm going to be healthy."
Yeah.
It takes at least 3 babies.
Right, exactly, yeah. I would say 3 babies is a minimum requirement to change all of that.
By the third baby, I'll have it down pat.
Yeah, maybe 1 Hershey a day or something like that. Shoot.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine having to change my diet. I've tried so many diets, they last 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's like, I want to eat what I want to eat, and if I don't, I'm upset and grumpy the whole day. So
it's not worth it. Might as well be happy and fat,
Exactly. Happy and fat.
Yeah. So they end up hiring Dr. Bergdahl for a trial period to fill that position because they trust him, because he was very honest and he seemed to be qualified. So they end up doing that, and Mindy and Danny end up talking about their issues, and it's a happy ending. They realize they need each other, and they are in it to win it.
I loved the quote at the end. She said, "I knew the kid would be fine because you're the dad," or something. Like, I did. So I did like. Now, what did you think about that moment?
Yeah, a little
tear, a little tear action.
Just making sure that you're still like, I don't want to lose you.
No, that was the best part.
Yeah. I agree. Well, that was a sweet moment to end on, and so I guess we'll see more of Dr. Bergdahl, but I don't really know. Let's get into predictions really quick to wrap it all up.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
What do you guys think?
I predict next week's episode is going to be really not boring.
Eventful. I don't only
not
predict that. I hope that. I'm like crossing my fingers.
No, you know what?
For
I'm
that.
confident because they're not going to have 2 boring episodes back to back.
True.
They really lost me, and usually she always has me, so I was really disappointed in this week.
I was going to say, usually you're pretty on with it,
But then again, in her defense, I haven't eaten dinner. I haven't had any chocolate today.
So she would understand.
Yeah,
she would understand.
So maybe it's not even her.
So true. That she would relate and get that. Exactly. I completely agree with you. I'm hoping for an eventful episode also. I don't know what I want to happen really though, because I sort of don't know what if this baby thing is, which it is going to happen clearly. Now I'm jumping on that boat, but I guess I'm ready to see where they're going with it. I don't know where they're going to go, and I don't even know what I want to see, but I'm just waiting.
So for sure you think the baby's going to happen?
Yeah, it's going to happen.
How much you want to bet?
What do you want to bet right here on air?
Obviously food.
I'll do a full-on meal right there, wherever, anywhere, any place.
And whoever
baby's happening.
Whoever loses brings food for me too. I'm not in on the bet, but you just
that's
get
the easy way to jump on in on it. No, I'm telling you, I'm getting food because it's happening.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, all right, you guys heard it here.
So Eman, so let's talk about that for a second. You think that this pregnancy, is it real, or you think that?
No, I think it's real, but I think it's gonna end up not happening.
She's not going to end up having a baby.
She's gonna
I feel like that's just I feel like a miscarriage is really intense for a show like.
We kind of talked about that last week about would they do it, would they not? And I think, I don't know. I'm still up. I don't think they're going to. I think they could if they worked it in right, but I don't think they will.
I just think a baby is such a drastic change for
it's a real big risk for her too as a show creator. Like that's huge.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's just something none of her audience expected, and I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Like I would be happy. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll get married and have a baby too. But you know what I'm saying? Like I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm still very skeptical about it.
I agree.
Well, I'm excited. I'm gonna start picking where I'm gonna eat and like what you're gonna be getting me because I'm gonna win.
I already know.
All right, well, we're gonna have to see where how this bet plays out in future episodes. But okay, guys, where can we find you guys on social media, websites? What's going on?
Well, you can find me on like all Beyonce's fan pages. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at Imani Fresh.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Nicholas Grava.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Sterling Cates. And be sure to follow AfterBuzz TV on all of the social medias as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
At one point, I was like,
see you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.